It's been a while since I have gone live here on Instagram, and I have decided, let's do it again. I want to do it more often, and I want to bring to you important topics to talk about, to educate you on, to answer any questions that you have when it comes to vegan, weight loss, you being a woman, cycle syncing, hormonal health, all of the great stuff, right? All of the great stuff. Now, I can say that when it comes to weight loss on a vegan diet, there are common mistakes I see women make. Women that come to me and start working with me, and they make these before they start working with me, or women that come to me and just ask me general questions about a vegan diet. And so these are a couple of things that I want to address, and these are more common than you think, okay? And they're not as complicated as you may think. Now, it doesn't matter right now if you are a woman who wants to lose weight, if you want to be fitter, healthier, improve your digestion, all of these things will probably apply to you, and you want to know about these things, okay? The first mistake that I see a lot of vegan women make when they want to lose weight is they eat beans for protein. What does this mean? Now, there is a big misconception that beans are a great protein source. And many women tell me, I eat so many beans, I feel bloated, my digestion is not great, and I still don't see any difference in my body, and my weight is not dropping. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So let me say this. Beans are not a primary protein source. So yes, beans have protein, but they're not a primary protein source. So as an example, if you're eating chickpeas every day as a protein source, very likely you're under eating in terms of protein. Now, why is protein important? Protein is very important if you want to lose weight as a vegan woman. Number one, it's going to help you build muscle or maintain your muscle. The more muscle we have as women, the more calories we burn at rest, and the better we will feel. Protein also increases your satiety, right? So if you feel like you're craving a lot of things all the time and you can't stop eating and you have a sweet tooth and you want to eat a lot of sweet stuff, or you just crave food in general, your protein intake is probably on the lower side. So you want to increase your protein intake as well. The other thing as well for women, when it comes to hormonal health, you want to make sure you are creating balanced hormones in your body. And the best way to do that is making sure you're eating enough protein in your diet. So going back to why beans are not protein. Yes, beans have protein, but beans shouldn't be seen as a primary protein source. So as an example, a not balanced meal would look something like rice, chickpeas, and vegetables. Even though on paper, this is a great meal, it's healthy, it's whole foods if you're adding brown rice, right? It's a healthy meal on paper, the protein intake is still very low. So what can happen is that you're eating this meal, you're gonna be hungrier quicker, you will probably have, what happened here? You probably are going to have digestive issues, and it's not gonna help you drop the weight because you have too little protein to build muscle and maintain it. So a better way to approach it is making sure you focus on primary protein sources. Primary protein sources are anything from tofu, tempeh, seitan, textured vegetable protein. Bean pasta is a lot better than obviously pasta itself, because normal pasta doesn't have protein or little protein. And it's also better than beans by itself because of the macronutrient split, right? So bean pasta is a lot better if you want to increase your protein intake for weight loss, or generally just feeling better and healthier. So by those primary protein sources, when you include them in your meals, you can add beans, lentils, legumes, nuts and seeds. All of these, they will add to your protein intake, but they will not make the majority of your meal, okay? This means you have primary and secondary protein sources. Primary protein sources, anything, tofu, tempeh, as I said, textured vegetable protein, Seitan, bean pasta and protein powder is a great one to add to your smoothies, or things like in the morning, like your oatmeal, right? So making sure you have a good vegan organic protein powder is another one. And then you have secondary protein sources, which is beans, lentils, legumes, and you add them to your meals. Seeds, peanut butter, right? These are not primary protein sources. They have more fat and more carbs, but when you calculate, for example, your calories and your macros, you will see that the protein is going to be good. No, because bean pasta, the macronutrient split is different, right? And because the fiber is lower, it doesn't have the same effect on your body like beans by itself. So the beautiful part about bean pasta is because it's a little bit more processed, even though it's still healthier than regular pasta, because the fiber intake is lower, your digestion is going to be better, and you can eat more of it, making you feel satiated for longer and increasing your protein intake. I hope that makes sense, Billy. So that is the first one, the first mistake that I see a lot of people make. Now, sometimes people tell me, but tofu is beans too, and tempeh is beans too. Yes, but it's different, right? Because it's more condensed, right? It's a more condensed source. So when you eat a block of tofu, you have a lot more protein than eating a whole bowl of beans, for example, right? So that is a little difference, which will make a huge difference. It will make a huge difference to the way that you eat and the way that you feel. The second mistake that I see a lot of vegan women make is being scared of fats. Fats are so important for a healthy body, a healthy mind, a healthy metabolism, for healthy hormones, right? A lot of people speak about high carb, low fat diets. I've done this diet before as well. And when I've done a high carb, low fat diet, I felt the worst ever, because as women, we need healthy fats. What are healthy fats? Nuts, seeds, nut butters, seed butters, avocados. I'm not a big fan of oils. The only oil that I personally use is extra virgin olive oil that is organic, and I use so little of that. I drizzle it somewhere here in my salad, or when I make tofu scramble, right? It's very, very little amounts that I use. So I try to stay to whole foods when it comes to fat. What about being constipated on a high protein diet, even drinking water and having fiber? That means that either way, the type of protein source that you're eating is not the right one for you, or you're still under consuming in fiber, right? So sometimes we think we're having a lot of fiber, but it might not still be enough. Everyone is different, and I wonder also, constipation has other reasons why you might be constipated are stress, not sleeping enough, other genetic things going on. So it's really you have to really look at all of those aspects and see if maybe there is a protein source that feels better for you, or if you can increase your fiber intake by a little bit more. Sometimes we think we're having enough, but also looking, maybe, tracking your nutrition and looking at your fiber intake at the end of the day might be helpful as well, right? So I think it's a mixture of everything, plus hormonal health. I'm not sure if you're a woman, I think so. Hormonal health, a hormonal balance, and your menstrual cycle can also make you feel constipated at certain points of the cycle. So making sure you learn how to cycle syncing your nutrition with your cycle and giving your body the nutrients that it needs during each phase of the cycle is really important too, right? That's why, we have to have the protein in there, we have to have the carbs, we have to have the healthy fiber, the healthy fat, and then fiber in the food that we're eating as well. Plus understanding that our body as women, it changes throughout the month, right? Some days of the month we're gonna feel more bloated, we're retaining more water, and some days of the month we need less of certain foods and more of other foods, right? So looking at that as well. I'm not sure if that is helpful, and if you're here, but let me know. The third mistake that I see a lot of vegan women make is eating too many carbs, right? So they're not paying attention to protein, they're not paying attention to fat, and eating too many carbohydrates. I made this mistake. When I first went vegan, I gained weight. because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was following all of these influencers online that were telling me about whole food plant-based diets, that you don't have to pay attention to any, extras, and just eat healthy, eat a lot of vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains. And I felt not only constipated, bloated all the time, I gained weight again, and I felt horrible. And I remember, being an ethical vegan, I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? And it's because I was eating way too much carbohydrates. And that's usually I would say, one of the main reasons people come to me. I had a client once, her name is Stephanie. It was many years ago that she worked with me, and she came to me frustrated. She's like, Jess, I'm eating so healthy. I'm having my lentils, I'm having my chickpeas, I'm having all of these healthy things. Why do I look like I'm 5 months pregnant and I can't zip my clothes up? And she always felt like bloated and retaining water. And it's because the balance of her diet wasn't enough, right? So making sure that you are aware of that too. So ultimately, you want to make sure you're always balancing your protein, fats, carbs, and your fiber in your meal. The fourth mistake that I see a lot of people make is snacking too much. This is a very common one, and people are not realizing that they're doing it. I'm a snacker. I love snacks, okay? I cannot live without my daily sweet thing in the day. If it's chocolate, if it's a cookie, whatever that might be, I love it, okay? I always make sure I include it, and I always encourage my clients to do the same, but it can happen a lot of times. You're cooking your meal here, you're snacking on something there, you made your meals for your kids and you're finishing whatever your kids didn't eat, and you're grabbing something there and you're grabbing something here. And we don't realize that over time, these calories add up. So let's say you are in a calorie deficit because you want to lose weight, and let's say you're in a calorie deficit of 1,500 calories, right? And then you start to snack a little bit here and there. Very easily, this can add up to 300-400 calories, and you're no longer in calorie deficit. And you wonder, I'm doing all of the things, I'm working out, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating my balanced meals, I'm in a calorie deficit, but you are actually not. And so just being more conscious of, where am I eating more than what I planned on eating? Am I snacking a little bit more on my kids' foods? Am I eating the leftovers? Am I, spooning the peanut butter a couple times more? Again, peanut butter is great. I have peanut butter daily too. But obviously, if you eat 10 spoons of peanut butter, that will probably be too much, okay? So just paying attention and being mindful about your snacks. And also, one pro tip that I have for you guys is, for example, when you're watching a TV series like Love is Blind. I feel like everyone has been watching it and everyone is obsessed with it, and I can't wait to watch the reunion tonight as well, because I haven't watched it yet, so please don't spoil me. But I love to sit in the front of the TV and I need a snack. Okay. And so what I do is, when I need a snack, is instead of taking the whole bag of chips, I take out a separate bowl and I place the chips in there. So I know this is my portion. This is what I'm going to eat, and I'm mindful about it. This is a good tracking without trekking, right? So by having this type of bowl, making sure you're taking out a portion into your bowl, this is so much better because you are in control of what you're eating. When you're having this whole ball, the whole bag of chips, it's so easy to keep snacking, isn't it? You don't realize because you're so focused on Love is Blind, and then you're eating and eating and eating, and after a while you're oh my God, I finished the whole bag. What did I just do? Right? So a better way is having a separate bowl, placing it in there, eating it like that. And then my fifth and last common vegan weight loss mistake that I see is, and maybe you wouldn't guess this, it's not sleeping enough. Would you believe this? Sleep is so underrated. There are all of these things, I can sleep when I'm dead and all of this. No. There are studies that show that people who do not sleep enough or don't have good quality sleep are more likely to be overweight. And why is that the case? Sleep is very important because obviously while you're sleeping, your body is rejuvenating, your body is doing its thing, its bodily processes, digesting your food. It's preparing you for the next day. Sleep is important for you to wake up the next day and have enough energy to get through your day, right? I think we all know this. Now, if you're not sleeping enough, or if you're not having good quality sleep, your body will try to find another way to get this energy in, right? So it's gonna be like, okay, I haven't slept enough, and you will probably feel it. You're more hungrier and you're more likely to overeat. And so this, being in a vicious cycle, can happen quickly, where you're sleeping too little or not enough sleep. The next day you feel hungrier because your body is looking for energy to get you through the day. And then you're more likely to also not only eat more, but eat the things that you know are not good for you. Because when your body is looking for energy, it will probably go to quick energy sources. What are quick energy sources? Anything that is high in sugar and high in fat, right? So it's gonna give you, oh, I'm craving a burger tonight, or I'm craving the pizza, or I'm craving the ice cream, which once in a while, it's not bad to eat that. I actually had pizza yesterday night. But the problem is, if you're not sleeping enough regularly, this is very likely for you to happen, that you end up overeating throughout the day and you're eating more energy than you actually are burning. And so there's a vicious cycle, right? So it's very important that you really have a regular sleep routine, right? Going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, and also paying attention to having good sleep hygiene, meaning good quality sleep, right? So making sure that you have good quality sleep. So making sure everything is dark, you are not looking at screens like 1 hour before going to bed, all of those things, and making sure you're comfortable in your bed too, right? Which is important. What is the best way to approach a calorie deficit? So to be honest, Jen, the way that I do this with my clients, and I think this is really important that everyone does it this way, is that right now, the way that you're eating, if you've been eating like this for a while and you're not losing or gaining weight and you're maintaining weight based on the way that you're eating, you want to first understand how many calories in general am I eating right now? Right? Many people use a calculator only, and they look at weight and height and your age. But you also want to look at, okay, if I'm eating like this all of the time, what is my average amount of calories that I'm consuming while I'm maintaining my current weight? Obviously, if you keep gaining weight over time and you see, oh, I keep gaining weight and weight and weight, it's probably you are in a calorie surplus. So eating more calories than you're burning calories. But right now, if you are maintaining based on what you're eating, this is your maintenance level. And so with that maintenance level, you also want to look at, okay, how much protein, how much fat, and how many carbs am I eating? And in many cases, what I've seen, obviously, as I said in the beginning of this live, is that many people are not eating enough protein. So you will probably want to look at, okay, how much protein am I eating? And increase that by like 30 to 40 grams, especially if you're below 50 grams, okay? So you want to make sure you up your protein intake and probably lower your fat intake. Many vegans eat too much fat and too much of the wrong fat, so lowering your fat intake or upping it. Again, very, very individual approach. And then counting up the rest with your carbohydrates. I personally, it depends again on the person and how much weight you have to lose. If you have a lot of weight to lose, obviously the lower the calorie deficit, the quicker you're gonna be losing weight. But you also want to create something that's sustainable. Because if you lose weight so quickly, it's also very hard to maintain that, right? So you also want to create a lifestyle that is sustainable for you. So you can start with 200-300 calorie deficit first and see how you feel. Upping your protein, see how you feel with that. And then if you feel like, oh, I'm not really losing weight, or I'm still not feeling great, lowering that a little bit and seeing how that makes you feel, right? So this is the best way to kind of approach this, and seeing how steady your weight loss is. Again, everyone is individual. Everyone is gonna go, on a weight loss diet, and some people are gonna lose weight a lot quicker, and some people are, it's going to take a little bit more time. Depends how much weight you have to lose, how lean you already are, how much muscle mass. If you do strength training as well, obviously you're also going to be gaining muscle, and that also weighs, right? It also weighs. So when I say weight loss, ultimately we're talking about fat loss. We want to lose fat, not necessarily overall weight. You don't want to lose muscle, right? So while you're gaining muscle and you're losing fat, you might see also that your weight is kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down. But if you generally see like a line that is going down, you're on a good path. And eventually, you're going to become so lean that you will see that, okay, it stays consistent, up and down, up and down, up and down. Again, as I said before as well, depending on your hormonal health, you might also see, changes depending on the phase of the menstrual cycle that you're in, or if you're already in perimenopause or menopause, that will also depend. If you are in menopause, you want to make sure that you really reduce your carb intake. Many women, the majority of women actually, when they're in menopause, cannot digest carbs as well anymore. So their bodies cannot convert carbs into energy anymore. And so what happens is that because your body cannot, convert the carbs into energy anymore, that stays as excess fat in your body, right? So by lowering the carbs and increasing your fat and protein, that can also help with weight loss. So I hope, what was your name? Jen. I hope, Jen, this was helpful. But yeah, that's pretty much it. These are the common vegan weight loss mistakes. I was just thinking of another one, but it just left my mind again. So I'm happy to go on another live and speak about it again. Now, I do also want to invite you. I'm currently holding a 15-day free coaching experience on Telegram. Now, today we are on day 10, I think, or 11, but the group is still open. All of the information is in there, and the Telegram experience is about stepping into your vegan summer body. So you can still sign up to that and get all of the free coaching in the group. You can still catch up with all of the messages. Next week, the group is going to be closed. Sorry guys, there's constructions here. I hope you can't hear this. Next week, the group is going to be closed, and all of that content is going to be available for my paid clients only. Okay, so there's so much free content in there and so many transformations already. So if you want to join that, send me a DM right now and do not miss out, because it's a great experience to have. My mother is 56. She's following a great diet and working out regularly, yet having sleep issues. That is very common, because what happens is from the age of 40, your melatonin production starts to decrease. What does this mean? You need melatonin in order for you to sleep well, right? So you see a lot of women who are in menopause, they can't sleep well anymore. It's because their bodies are not producing enough melatonin. So the best way to support your melatonin production is by making sure you stay away from screens. I would say in this case, even 2 to 3 hours before going to bed, right? A lot of times, many people are so used to watching TV right before they go to bed. This is gonna hinder your melatonin production. When you wake up, getting into sunlight first thing in the morning, even if it's still a little bit darker, the fact that you're stepping outside, getting the sunlight on your skin is very powerful too. So it's gonna already increase your stress hormones. So your body is, naturally gets into the circadian rhythm, right? So where you increase your stress hormones in the morning and increase your melatonin in the evening, so that your body can create this cycle, right? So I would definitely say staying away from screens, having blue filters on your phone, or, I don't know if she's using a computer. Like some women that I work with still use a computer, having like a blue screen on there, getting out into sunlight. Doing strength training is a very good one as well, right? Starting with strength training, building muscle, very good and important for hormonal health too, because that is a hormonal regularity, right, that she's experiencing. So making sure that she's doing the strength training as well, and following those small little guidelines, which hopefully is helpful, Millie. Let me know. I am sending everyone so much love. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next live. Bye-bye.